Imagine living in a world where humanity believed its destiny was guided by divine will, fixed by tradition, and immune to change. Then, two men, separated by discipline but united by revolution, shattered that illusion. Charles Darwin, a quiet naturalist, claimed that all life, including human beings, was not designed, but evolved. Karl Marx, a fiery philosopher, declared that society itself was not natural but constructed, and therefore could be overthrown. Darwin shook our understanding of biology. Marx shook our understanding of society. But here is the haunting question. Whose shadow looms larger over the world we live in today? This is not just a comparison of science and politics. It's a battle between two visions of humanity. One says we are shaped by nature's blind struggle. The other says we are shaped by economic forces and class warfare. One dismantled religion. The other dismantled empires. And in the end, both rewrote the script of modern civilization. Darwin's theory of evolution by natural selection was more than biology. It was philosophy disguised as science. It declared that there is no fixed essence of humanity, no perfect design, no guiding hand. Instead, life adapts, struggles, and survives through randomness and necessity. This idea demolished centuries of religious certainty and forced humanity to see itself not as chosen, but as contingent. But Darwin's revolution didn't stop at biology. His ideas bled into psychology, sociology, even politics. Concepts like survival of the fittest influenced capitalism, imperialism, and modern debates about inequality. Whether twisted or embraced, Darwin became a cultural force. To many, he symbolized freedom from superstition. To others, he unleashed a dangerous world where morality seemed relative. Darwin gave us the story of life itself, but he also gave us a new anxiety. If nature governs us, where do we find meaning? Karl Marx, on the other hand, looked not at nature, but at history. He saw society as a battlefield of classes, where the powerful exploit the powerless. His claim was radical. Just as Darwin argued species evolve, Marx argued societies evolve through conflict. Feudalism collapsed into capitalism, and capitalism, he predicted, would collapse into communism. Marx gave voice to the oppressed, calling for revolution, equality, and a world beyond exploitation. His writings lit fires across continents, from labor unions to revolutions in Russia, China, and beyond. Even today, debates about inequality, capitalism, and justice echo Marx's warnings. But Marx's revolution came at a cost. His ideas inspired utopian dreams and totalitarian nightmares. To some, Marx is the prophet of liberation. To others, he is the architect of suffering. Yet no one can deny that he changed how we see power, wealth, and justice. Darwin explained how nature shapes us. Marx explained how society shapes us. Together they created two competing frameworks of human destiny. Are we defined by our biology or by our social structures? By survival or by struggle? By chance or by choice? Darwinian thought inspired capitalism, social Darwinism, and the rise of secular science. Marxist thought inspired revolutions, welfare states, and critiques of inequality. In a strange irony, both men replaced God with new forces, Darwin with nature, Marx with history. And in both cases, humanity was no longer at the center of the universe. We were subjects to laws larger than ourselves. The 20th century became the testing ground for Darwin and Marx. Darwin's ideas justified colonialism, racial theories, and the ruthless competition of capitalism. Marx's ideas fueled revolutions that toppled monarchies and empires, but also gave rise to authoritarian regimes. World War II, the Cold War, and even today's ideological battles carry echoes of Darwin and Marx. When nations debate free markets versus socialism, they are debating Marx. When science clashes with religion, when genetics reshapes medicine, when debates about race and gender erupt, they are grappling with Darwin. The irony? Both men sought truth, not power. Yet their truths became weapons in the hands of politicians. Beyond politics, Darwin and Marx asked deeply personal questions. Darwin asks, are we just clever animals shaped by survival? Marx asks, are we just social beings shaped by economics? Both strip away illusions of grandeur. Both force us to confront our limits. Darwin humbles us before nature. Marx humbles us before history. And yet both empower us. Darwin says we are products of adaptation, so we can adapt further. Marx says we are products of systems, so we can change those systems. Together they challenge us. What does it mean to be human in a world without absolutes? Today, Darwin's shadow stretches across science, medicine, and environmentalism. Every discovery in genetics, every battle over evolution in schools, every debate on human origins carries his imprint. Meanwhile, Marx's ghost haunts economics, politics, and culture. From Occupy Wall Street to debates about inequality, from socialist movements to critiques of late capitalism, Marx refuses to be buried. But here's the paradox. Darwin explained how life evolves. Marx explained how society evolves. And today both narratives intertwine. We live in a world shaped by technological evolution, economic upheaval, and climate crisis. Darwin explains why pandemics emerge. Marx explains why healthcare is unequal. Darwin explains the struggle for survival. Marx explains the struggle for dignity. So who truly shaped modern civilization, Darwin or Marx? The answer is not simple. Darwin gave us a lens to see life itself. Marx gave us a lens to see society. One redefined truth, the other redefined justice. Together they destroyed illusions and built new ones. Maybe the real question is not who shaped us more, but how we live with the legacies of both. Darwin forces us to face nature without God. Marx forces us to face society without kings. And in their shadows we are left with freedom and responsibility. Because if Darwin is right, then life is struggle. And if Marx is right, then history is struggle. But if both are right, then the true measure of humanity is how we rise within that struggle. So I ask you, who do you believe has shaped your world more, Darwin or Marx?